So, yeah, share the post, treat them now.
Nasty.
Yeah, I get on the phone this afternoon.
I'm not smart. I don't do the same thing twice.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Broome County LDC on September 21st, 2022. Looking for a motion to approve the transcript of our last meeting on August 17th, 2022. Thank you, Peter. Is that a second?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion, questions, comments? Very good. Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Come to the part of our agenda where we have our public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the local development corporation, please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, it's John Swollen, Binghamton. You know, when the LDC was created, versus the IDA, and there was, well, LDC is for nonprofit entities, you know, and the IDA is for the commercial. Now, on this Phoenix thing, you know, if you look at the public record, and Stacy, I think, let out a bombshell that the property is being divided up into good and bad properties, or old and new properties, whatever you want to call it. If you look at the public record, you've got 10 transactions within a few months. Deeds, assignments to the Cayman Islands, back and forth, mortgage holders. You don't know who the hell you're doing business with. You really don't. So, you know, it reminds me of the guy that came to town from the dentist in Philadelphia years ago. He came and he sought out property owners, paid up property owners, and he went and bought 50 properties or 100 properties, whatever, tied them all up in bankruptcy. You know, a lot of people had to go under. You will never, right now, just what I'm looking at the public record, you will never figure out who has what interest in these things. This is not a REIT yet. So who owns these properties? Who's doing business? Why the Cayman Islands? Why all this activity? I know about sophisticated finance and I know about tax law, but this seems to be too much shuffling too soon. And to me, you always want to know who you're doing business with. And I don't think that's too much to ask. And, you know, one of the tells and one of the things that I'm on the public record in the EIT transaction is when they split it up into two, Huron. I said, well, there's your indication of a potential bust out. You know, so this looks to me already like they're preparing for some bad news. And if you have all these entities, you and the state, and all this money going into this location, nobody knows what the hell's going on. So I think people owe you a reason for all this. Master partnership 1, 2, 3, 4, deeds coming back and forth within 30 or 60 days. I mean, I know you need financing, and I'm not talking about when they first came to town with the first 3 or 4 transactions. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff that's going down in the last few months. So this is a very, very suspect transaction. Reminds me of when the mayor got involved with the Anatech site and a company that was pretending to be a developer, and they're really a wrecking company and a title holding company to see who came out of the woodwork on a toxic claim. And we know how the Charles Street Business Park ended up. We know that. So, you know, somebody, you guys are the ones that are gonna, if this blows up in any way, you guys are the ones that are gonna be accused of being irresponsible. Because the county's gonna say, well, we think. So I just suggest this, I'll wind it up. Broome County doesn't know who the hell owns this property. The village of Endicott doesn't know who owns the mortgages and everything else. They don't know anything about this. This is a horrible, convoluted trail on the public record, and you're just throwing money. Who are you giving the money to? This is bad. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Anybody else have anything to say about the Broome County LDC? We'll close this public comment session. Item number 4, looking for a resolution to approve the 2023 LDC operational budget. Stacy?
Yes, so the request comes from the county for the LDC to accept $2 million in funds from the American Rescue Plan to be provided for projects to support economic development. For clarification, the project associated with this request is for Phoenix Endicott Industrial Investors LLC. This is for to support their efforts to renovate the Huron campus in the village of Endicott. As the Huron campus in Endicott was sold to Phoenix in last year, Phoenix has undertaken several site improvement projects this summer, consisting mostly of painting the buildings, as you may have seen, but also in addition, complex masonry repairs, as well as replacement of several roofs at the nearly 2 million square foot facility. The funds will be used to support the old building group demolition project. The original group of buildings that are referred to this as OBG were shut down by Huron in 2007. They've been closed for 15 years with no intent to reuse due to being functionally obsolete. No heating or cooling has been provided to the buildings for 15 years, and they are in a serious state of disrepair. They have been trying to identify a feasible path forward, and their recommendation to the county in seeking this assistance was to outline their plan to demolish those buildings, the ones that are aligned along McKinley Ave in the village of Endicott, and make way for the necessary site work and infrastructure repair improvements to make way for additional buildings on the campus. Phase 2 of the plan includes the construction of facilities to support current tenants, including but not limited to Imperium 3, as well as continued conversations with tenant Ubiquity Solar, and potentially the expansion of Binghamton University through the New Energy New York program. That is the $113 million provided to the university to build out their own essentially battery manufacturing pilot facility. They are in conversations. They have some space at building 258 currently and are looking at Endicott and the Huron campus as the potential site of this test facility. So again, the funds will be used to support Phoenix in their endeavor to redevelop the Huron campus.
Questions for Stacy? Cheryl, this came out of governance.
It
The
did.
mayor left
Yep,
us, so
it did, and we move it forward as a motion.
thank you, Cheryl. Is there a second? Dan, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against this? Any abstentions? Moving forward. Going back to number 4, resolution to approve the 2023 LDC operational. You threw me off, Stacy. You started talking about. And the guy, and I said, wait, no, we're talking about budget.
Yeah.
My number four is different. I must have been, it must have been switched on me. I apologize. I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that happened, or I have an older version, maybe.
Anyway.
Apologies, everyone, for keeping you all on your toes today. So, the proposed budget for the Broome County Local Development Corporation includes the continuation mostly of annual income in the form of grants and one specific project payment, which comes through Good Shepherd Village, the refinancing of bonds that we did for that program. The budget continues to take a conservative approach. We essentially use this program, our income, to support our marketing partnerships with the Broome is Good program currently, but ultimately with the Chamber for the Leadership Alliance. We've maintained an estimate of $25,600 in annual payments from Good Shepherd Village over a period of 10 years. That payment will be coming in. We have received our pre-grant approval or pre-application approval for our $75,000 grant through NYSEG. That's our marketing program we do with NYSEG through their economic development outreach program. And in addition, we've added $25,000 in income from the Greater Binghamton Chamber of Commerce to support a more cohesive marketing strategy for the Leadership Alliance. So that outlines our main source of income. We will receive this year a one-time administrative fee of $50,000 through the grant program we're administering with Community Development Block Grant Funds. That is a one-time, so we'd not carry that in for next year. Essentially, our expenses, again, are related to our marketing partnerships. We've maintained $30,000 in annual support for Dick's Sporting Goods Open and an additional $30,000 to support other community organizations and events. And we did add for the next year a $4,000 expense. Through ARPA, we will be required to do a single audit related to our allocation of ARPA funds. So with that, we expect to see a net income of roughly $13,000.
Questions for Stacy?
Stacy, what's the miscellaneous income, 10,000?
That is funding we have received essentially through supporting. Teresa, remind me what this is. It's, I know the idea, it's typically grant. We do some small grant administration.
Yeah, we've done
Pass
like
throughs. I'm trying to
we've done
think of-
stuff with the FAA, a lot of
Yeah.
it's, so we've done it to McFarland and Johnson and, where we
We serve
receive
as
some
their,
income
yeah.
for, basically, we pass through their bills and the financing, and we pass it through, and we get an administrative fee for doing it.
so it'll be over the course of the years,
It sounds
anywhere
like
from
it's-
$5,000 to $10,000, and we receive through serving in that capacity. The FAA one is one we've had for at least a dozen years
Yeah,
now.
we had it. That ended last year.
They need
but
it.
They're always,
Yeah,
That's
every
why
year.
it wasn't on last year.
Yes.
The ARPA audit. That's a gift that keeps on giving, right? As long as there's funds.
Yes, if you distribute, I think it is more than $750,000 in funds.
we have to do a
In
single
a year,
audit.
you have to do a single.
So we'll definitely have another audit the year after now.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Stacy or for Dan? Dan? Tell us, Finance Committee,
This did come forward. And we'll move to-
thank you. Is there a second? Joe, thank you. Any comments? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Any old business to cover? Looking for a motion to adjourn? Thanks, Dan. Is there a second? Thanks, Dan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.
That was a record. Yeah. You found an extra hour today. Yeah, right.